Are you a talented artist? Or are you passionate about a topic you want to discuss? But money can be very hard to find for an upcoming artist. Don't worry, Studio Mashinani has got your back. Sign up on ajira.co.ke to book a session with your music and video producers across the country. Work on your music, jingles, spoken words, and even podcasts to realize your dream. All for free. Studio Mashinani, Radani Talent.
Well, the 9th edition of the Development Conference to be held in Homa Bay, set to kick off. The theme this year is For the People, for Posterity, Devolution as a catalyst for equity, inclusion, and social justice. Plus, the Health Ministry assures Kenyans of a seamless access to medical services after acquiring a new server. All that coming up, including a look at the day's sports. And at the tail end, we'll also be talking to you about what's the latest in business, then followed by the sports. Thank you for joining us. My name is Mboya. My colleague Odim is away. We wish her a quick recovery. But here is a look at our top stories tonight. Comet the boom. Government disburses 3.3 billion shillings to the first and second year university students through the Higher Education Loans Board.
I want to promise the people of Mandera, hawa machief lazima warudi nyumbani, na hawa wakora na wagaidi na wahuni tutapambana na wao.
Operation Rescue Chiefs. President Ruto says a multi-security agency is working round the clock to rescue 5 chiefs abducted by suspected Al-Shabaab militia.
Watu wameweza kuondolewa hapo, watu 10.
Buried with gold. Rescue workers retrieve 2 bodies from a collapsed gold mine in Shinyalu.
We are frustrated. First, I'm trying to get healthy, but they're messing up with my head. They're messing up with my psyche. They're messing up. I'm psychologically affected.
And cancer survivors lament over inability to access critical medication as Kenya marks the World Cancer Day. Social media handle at KBC on all the social media platforms, and Wangeshi is in charge of our sign language docket tonight. And we start off this broadcast with our lead story. Now, President William Ruto is tonight saying that government will do everything possible to ensure a safe return of 5 chiefs who were abducted Monday by suspected Al-Shabaab militants. The president, who was on a tour of Mandera County, said that he has instructed all security apparatus to ensure that the administrators are freed. The president committed a sustained war against criminal gangs, saying that Mandera must enjoy peace like any other Kenyan town. That's the report that opens our coverage tonight.
President William Ruto on Tuesday began a week-long tour of the northern Kenya region. Responding to a plea by local leaders in Mandera County for the freeing of 5 chiefs allegedly abducted by Al-Shabaab militia, the president said an operation has been launched to ensure their safe return home.
Kwa sababu ya kutaka kulete hali ya hofu sehemu hii, ati walienda wakashika machifu wetu. I want to promise the people of Mandera, hawa machifu lazima warudi nyumbani, na hawa wakora na wagaidi na wahuni tutabambana na wao.
The president saying he had directed Deputy Inspector General of Police Gilbert Masengeli to lead a security operation dubbed Ondoa Jangili to pacify the region.
Bwana Masengeli nishamueleza ya kwamba juu chini, kulia kushoto, mbele na nyuma, east or west, mpaka mambo haya yatatuliwe.
The president said Mandera was part of Kenya and his administration would ensure the town is safe like any other part of Kenya.
Kesho mimi niko na ceremony kubwa ya kuondoa once and for all ile maneno ya vetting ambayo ilikuwa inagandamiza watu wa Northern Kenya. Wanafanywa kama sio wa Kenya wengine wakati wanatafuta kitambulisho ama mambo ya kuhakikisha kwamba wanapata pia passport.
The head of state vowing he will do everything possible to protect the integrity of the nation and that no inch of the country will be left on the hands of criminal gangs who want to unleash terror on innocent Kenyans.
And we will not stop at anything until we make sure Northern Kenya is safe like any other part of the Republic of Kenya.
The president used the tour to hit out at government critics for what he terms as inciting the masses against the government.
Mimi nawaambia, they have no plan, they have no agenda, they have no ideas, they are leaderless, they have no plan for this country. And I want to promise you that they will not succeed to divide our nation.
National unity is very important. The roads that we are building, the hospitals that we are building, the electricity we are connecting is not good enough unless the people of Kenya live in peace and unity.
To ensure income for the farmers, he urged them to embrace livestock vaccination to be rolled out shortly.
Mambo ya magonjwa ya ng'ombe zetu, magonjwa ya mbuzi na kondoo, ni lazima tuweke mpango ya serikali ya kuondoa haya magonjwa, ndio tuweze kupata soko ya sawasawa ya kuuza nyama yetu.
The head of state also promised development projects, including building of roads, electricity, and water connection, among others. Give us in mind, Prime Edition.
Now on to the education funding model story that many Kenyans have been talking about lately. The government has disbursed a total of 3.32 billion shillings, money that was released on the 31st of January 2025 for the first and second year university students. In a statement released by the Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Migos Tuesday, the funds disbursed through the Higher Education Loans Board will see each student receive between 40,000 to 60,000 shillings for upkeep and welfare as well. Here's that report.
Just a day after a section of students from the University of Nairobi and Kenyatta University stormed the Higher Education Loans Board headquarters at Anniversary Towers in Nairobi, demanding the release of their capitation, the Ministry of Education says 3.32 billion shillings was disbursed on the 31st of January 2025. Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba, in a statement, further says the latest disbursement is part of the funds that had already been appropriated in July 2024 in the context of the current 2024-2025 financial year budgetary allocation and appropriation framework. Students, according to the Education Cabinet Secretary, will receive between 40,000 and 60,000 shillings for upkeep and welfare. This as the government awaits a decision on an appeal against High Court suspension of the new funding model introduced in 2023 in an attempt to try and create equity in the students' loans. For Prime Edition, I'm Gladys Mongai.
The 21 mission strike gold that ended in tragedy. Let's now get the very latest on that report, where we understand rescuers have retrieved the bodies of 2 miners and rescued 18 others who had been trapped inside the collapsed gold mine in Chinyalo, that's in Kakamega County. The 2 men, Boniface Alusiola and Franklin Alulu, as well as 18 others, had been trapped in the mine since Monday in the evening. This is that report.
2 people have died and 18 others have been rescued from a collapsed mine in Museno, Kakamega County. The 2 bodies were retrieved on Tuesday, more than 24 hours after the men were trapped in the shaft. Earlier, there were hopes that the 2 men, Boniface Alusiola and Franklin Alulu, will be found alive after 18 of the colleagues were rescued from the rubble.
Tulizubiri tukafika saa 9 na walisema walianguka, hiyo mchanga iliweza kuangukia saa 9. Venye tulifika saa 9 nikasema 12 hours ndio hizi zimefika. Nilihuzunika, lakini yote nikasema nimeachia Mwenyezi Mungu, sababu bila Mungu yote ni ngumu.
Kwa hivyo nataka niombe serikali kuu na serikali ya county tuweke precaution measures kwa hawa artisans wetu ambao wanajimba migodi.
The miners say the shaft caved in suddenly, giving them no time to escape.
Ni duara ambalo limeanza bila sisi kujua, kwa maana lilikuwa ni duara la mzungu. So wakati wameanza, uongozi wa hapa au kujua, pia sisi hatukujua, walikuwa wanaendelea kufukua ndio waanze kufanya kazi, ili tuje tuwaeleze kuhusu safety protocols. So watu ambao sisi tumeona wawili.
Kakamega County Governor Fernandez Baraza announced that the county government will waive the medical fees of those rescued from the mines.
Tuombee wale ambao wako pale chini, tutafanya juu chini ili tuhakikisha wametolewa hapo, na mpaka saa hizi tumepatiana mifuko ili waweze kufanya safety hapo chini, lakini kitu ya maana ni kwenda kuombea.
More than 200 artisanal miners operate the Museno mines, most of whom are ill-equipped. Ian Musa for Prime Edition.
Of course, the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi had earlier on called for urgent rescue efforts as the search efforts continues. Now on to the story that we highlighted about the Devolution Conference plans for the 9th edition of the Devolution Conference 2025, set to take place in Homa Bay County from the 12th to the 15th of August, have started. The steering committee, chaired by Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga, said that the conference will also feature partner-led side events to offer delegates a variety of experiences. The annual conference is regarded as an important tool to showcase devolution in Kenya and as a knowledge-sharing platform to enhance the implementation of devolution. The theme for this year is For the People, for Prosperity, Devolution as a Catalyst for Equity, Inclusion, and Social Justice.
The DevCon 2025 is expected to go fully digital. A state-of-the-art website and mobile application is under development to enhance the delegates' experience during the conference, with all the logistics about the conference will be available to the participants. The conference website will be launched as we commence the call for registration, which will kick off in March 2025.
We hope that we will have a platform to discuss, as the chairman has mentioned, the theme of devolution for the people and for prosperity, and as a platform for equity, social justice and inclusion. And we hope to see our young people, our women, persons with disability coming together to engage actively on how devolution can work for everybody.
You will agree with me that in the social media conversation today, we are fixated with the issue of equity and inclusion. So this provides a good opportunity for Kenyans and other people interested in Kenya to come together and discuss how well the first tool of equity, which is devolution, in the 2010 Constitution is assisting us to achieve the goals of equity, inclusion, and people-centered governance.
think I was clear.
Civil society fights for cancer survivors. We will be telling you what they're demanding after we come back from this short break. Please stay with us.
Shilingi 1,000. Toka kwa hiyo sanduku. Stoki. Oh. Kizongo mkuli. Rudisha hiyo pesa kwa sanduku namba 10.
Ongeza ifike 50.
Kwa nini? Anataka ukule popcorn ukitizama runinga, sawa? 100,000 Kenya shillings! Inch TV! 1,000 Kenya shillings! Yes!
Wellness is important in our daily lives so that instead of just surviving, we should be thriving.
Ways to prevent a stroke or heart attack is for you to know what conditions you have by regular checkup. People don't know they have hypertension. They don't know they have diabetes.
I was pre-diabetic. I was afraid of getting lifestyle diseases because I come from a family that has lifestyle diseases.
How do you know if your cough is due to a serious condition? We'll have some answers. Stay well
and strive to make every day a healthy day.
Mmelipwa. Umbea utakumaliza wewe. Hii story imesambaa kila mahali.
Na nani ngapi?
Plani yetu tafaulu kweli?
It has to.
The number cannot be reached now.
Ama majini akianza kuchimba atachimbua mpaka apate majibu.
Either way, Jane needs some time.
Umepanga naye?
Tumuongea na yeye na sawa kabisa.
Na yuko wapi? Huyu si ni Jane? Hizi picha zinatusaidia nini? Kwa hivyo wako pamoja na Trish.
Anza kukaa kama mwanaume juu uangalie boma yetu.
I'll do anything to protect you and this family.
Mimi sina saa za madingo na wasoro. Nitakupepeta wewe. I want to know where my daughter is, who she is with, and why.
Welcome back to Prime Edition, our socials at KBC Channel 1. Speak to us, let us know what your thoughts are and what stories you care about on those platforms. Now let's swing to our next story, the first one in the second part of this live broadcast. And a consortium of civil society organizations is demanding immediate action from government to improve treatment services to cancer survivors offered under the Social Health Authority, or SHA, if you like. This follows claims by a section of cancer survivors here in Nairobi, Kenya, of their frustrations due to the inability to access life-saving medication. Addressing the media as part of the World Cancer Day commemoration in Nairobi, the cancer survivors lamented that since the transition from NHIF to SHA, funds meant to cater for their medical attention have been slashed from 600,000 shillings all the way down to 300,000 shillings every year. The patients also claim that despite paying for medication 6 months in advance, they're not able to access the drugs from public hospitals. Let's now listen in to their predicament.
Na hatujafurahishwa na vile kunaenda. Ndio maana tuko hapa. Ndio tutetee haki zetu sisi mimi kama cancer survivor.
Tales of patients struggling to access medical services under the Social Health Authority continue to emerge. The latest to voice their frustrations are Esther Wanjiku and Rose Gishui, two cancer survivors who lamented what they termed the inaccessibility of life-saving cancer drugs in public hospitals.
SHA imetuleta down. Tulikuwa nalipa 500 kila mwezi ya kusimamia 600 kwa NHIF. Sasa SHA unaweza pata hata mtu analipa over 2,000 per month. That's 12,000 per year. Na hiyo SHA ni unakusimamia 300 peke yake.
So what's so hard with the government going to camps and asking them to deliver medicines to the hospital? We are frustrated. First, I'm trying to get healthy, but they're messing up with my head. They're messing up with my psyche. They're messing up. I'm psychologically affected.
Their accounts, according to a consortium of civil society organizations advocating for cancer patients' rights, is a challenge to the government to improve treatment services offered under the Social Health Authority. The groups, which include the Kenyan Network of Cancer Organizations, KENCO, and Cancer Survivors Association of Kenya, have lamented the unclear information on services offered under SHA, system failure and delayed access to care, and severe delays in radiotherapy treatment.
We urgently call on the government of Kenya and the Social Health Authority to take immediate and decisive action to protect and ensure the continuity of cancer and NCD's services.
Despite government assurances of a seamless transition, numerous patients report being turned away from treatment centers, creating unnecessary financial and healthy burdens. And we have heard that even from the survivors who shared here.
Elsewhere, medics at the Meru Hospice marked this year's World Cancer Day today by celebrating their oldest cancer survivor, Mugambe, who turned 104 years. He was diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer in 2017 and due to his age could only be put under palliative care.
Alikuja hapa kwetu akiwa na uchungu mwingi sana mwaka wa 2017 na kutoka wakati huo tukachukua jukumu la kumshughulikia.
Joseph Wahungu for Prime Edition.
The plight of cancer survivors there. What is the Ministry of Health talking about the new system? The ministry is assuring Kenyans of seamless access to medical services after procuring a new server that will help address the system hitches in the Social Health Authority, or SHA. Health Cabinet Secretary Dr. Deborah Baraza says that despite those teething problems experienced in the rollout of the Taifa Care Program, more than 500,000 Kenyans have benefited, with at least 18 million Kenyans enrolled on the SHA platform. Let's listen in to that report that has been compiled by Kasichana Masha.
Health Cabinet Secretary Deborah Barasa flagged off the tobacco and substance abuse campaign in Nanyuki Town, Laikipia County. The Cabinet Secretary used the opportunity to explain measures being taken to address Social Health Authority system hitches.
We are happy that we now have the server that came in on Friday, and now they are working to the technical issues to ensure that it's working efficiently. And what we can say, yes, during this time, bear with us, but ultimately, if each and every Kenyan can be able to access services, whether you are rich or poor, I believe that this would be, a game changer for all of us as Kenyans.
Barasa assuring that the government's plan of 100% transition to the new medical scheme from the defunct National Health Insurance Fund is on course.
We had very few people having had NHIF. Now we have more than 18 million Kenyans, almost three times the number that was in NHIF. And again, we are looking to, have more Kenyans on board.
On combating drug and substance abuse, the Cabinet Secretary reaffirmed the government's commitment to implement the Framework Convention of Tobacco Control, sentiments echoed by Tobacco Board Chair Naomi Shaban.
Most of the people who would want to access these rehabilitation centers have had to go to privately run rehabilitation centers, which are very, very expensive. It's a very expensive exercise, and it takes a lot from the pocket of the people who are able to access. But most of our people cannot even access.
The public awareness campaign will be rolled out in 10 select counties identified as tobacco and substance abuse hotspot areas. Kasichana Masha, Prime Edition.
The latest now on that strike by the nurses. Nurses serving under the Universal Healthcare Coverage Program have announced a countrywide strike starting today over the failure of government to absorb them on permanent and pensionable terms. The nurses are also decrying delays in payment of their gratuity and non-remission of their National Social Security Fund deductions. Let's listen into that report.
Such scenes and tunes have become too common at Afya House, Nairobi.
On Tuesday, nurses serving under the Universal Health Coverage Program employed in 2020 pitch camp here, seeking audience with the Ministry of Health leadership of what they have termed as discrimination that has led to career stagnation.
We have been at the entry level for the past 5 years. That is at the entry level. We cannot go back to school. We cannot go to the next job group. We do not have arrears. We cannot go for trainings. We do not have even risk allowances.
Kila siku tutakuwa tukikuja hapa kwa mlango ya Mboya mpaka tupatie barua za kandarasi ya kundumu. Tunasema kama union. Mugomo ya hawa wauguzi imeanza leo.
The nurses say the situation is so dire that fresh graduates are being absorbed under better terms.
Wale wenzetu ni freshmen kutoka college, sisi ndo tunawatrain. Kweli si kweli? Sisi tunawatrain lakini mshahara inaenda kwa inauma hayumi.
We need our salaries harmonized under SRC terms. We are supposed to get a salary of around 120 and above. But whatever we are getting right now is 36,000, which is criminal.
Non-remittance of the nurses' National Social Security Fund deductions and delays in gratuity payment has also been condemned by the nurses.
Niko na kopi ya NSSF remittance ya mwaka 2020 imekuwa shilingi 200 mwaka mzima.
Ukienda county wanasema nyinyi ni employees wa national kwa sababu tunawalipa. Tukikuja hapa national tunaambiwa nyinyi ni employees wa county kwa sababu tunafanya kazi county. Na sisi tunatibu wagonjwa ambao ni wa Kenya. Nataka serikali watuambie kwamba kuna wagonjwa wa national na county.
Hapo kiangalia tulianza tukawa wengi. Kweli.
They are also calling for the compensation to families of nurses who died during the COVID-19 pandemic.
When we come to MOH, we came and asked them. They said that that is a personal issue that the family can come and request for that gratuity or that compensation.
Under the Universal Health Coverage Program, the government employed the nurses under contractual terms to aid in the fight against COVID-19. Nancy Okware, Prime Edition.
Let's now move to the judiciary and find out what the issues are. And the Commission on Administrative Justice is demanding urgent action and transparency in tackling complaints against the judiciary. The Commission's chairperson, Charles Dulo, expressed concern over significant delays and the backlog of unresolved cases. Out of 700 complaints filed over the past 5 years, nearly 60% remain unresolved, casting doubts on the judicial system's efficiency and also fairness. The Commission is urging Chief Justice Martha Koome to act swiftly, requesting a detailed report on the status of these complaints and a compliance update also to be submitted to the Office of the Ombudsman within the next 21 days.
The Commission on Administrative Justice wants the Judicial Service Commission to promptly resolve and publicize complaints against judicial officers and staff, highlighting the severe backlog and delays in addressing cases. According to the Office of the Ombudsman, while the Commission has forwarded over 700 cases of maladministration in the last 5 years, nearly 60% of these complaints remain unresolved, leading to mounting frustration among aggrieved Kenyans seeking justice.
62% of those cases involves delay. And that is totally unacceptable. But I'm glad that where the Commission has had an opportunity to intervene, the cases have been resolved.
These complaints involve serious allegations such as fraud, bribery, delayed judgments, abuse of power, and even doctored court proceedings. Among the unresolved complaints is the case of a magistrate accused of fraudulently accessing funds from the judiciary's deposit account. Despite the initiation of the removal process in 2019, nearly 6 years later, the magistrate remains in service.
There is a complaint against a judge who upheld a lack of jurisdiction in a commercial case, but proceeded to award a counterclaim of 59 million in the same ruling. It is instructive to note that if you have no jurisdiction, then there's no way you can have jurisdiction to award in the counterclaim. that complaint still remains unaddressed despite the significant implication.
Other complaints involve magistrates accused of manipulating court proceedings, soliciting bribes and causing significant delays in judgments.
The CAJ has further requested the Chief Justice to submit a compliance report on the status of such complaint to the Office of the Ombudsman within the next 21 days.
The Commission's request comes as concerns grow over the efficiency and integrity of the judicial system, with over 398 complaints still pending resolution. The Commission calls on the Judicial Service Commission to prioritize these cases, ensuring that justice is served without further delays. Ben Chumba, Prime Edition.
Shilingi 1,000. Toka kwa hiyo sanduku. Stoki. Oh.
Kizongo mkuri. Rudisha hiyo pesa kwa sanduku namba 10.
Ongeza ifike 50.
Kwa nini?
Anataka ukule popcorn ukitizama runinga, sawa? 100,000 Kenya shillings. Inch TV. 1,000 Kenya shillings. Yes.
Mimi Kefe Chuma.
Wewe chuma inatoka wapi? Wewe kama ulimi ni mzito siwachane naye. Tumuite jina ingine.
Lakini wewe ni nini ya kusumbua?
Kwa nini?
Zilikuwa C4, zile za
C4 na kuruneti ni kitu moja.
Guruneti ni guruneti.
Sikiza nikwambie mami.
Tulijua ni guruneti ile inatumika kwa kware. Ilipolipuka, mimi nikainuliwa juu, huyu mama kainuliwa juu, tukajipata tumelaliana in the new year.
Why do you want to suicide yourself?
Mimi hakuna pale nitaka kujisuicide.
Na kufungua mheshimiwa nikiwasha kumbe ilikuwa ni nuclear bomb mheshimiwa. Sikujua huyu nani mwingi amenihusia vitu ambaye it's not legit mheshimiwa.
Back to Prime Edition now. Let's stay with the corridors of justice. And a member of the Nairobi County Assembly for Harambee Ward and 2 other co-accused persons have been charged for defrauding 9.4 million shillings from a family who wanted to purchase a property in Mboya Estate here in Nairobi, Kenya in the year 2020. Appearing before trial magistrate Ben Mark Ekubi, the MCA Anthony Kimemia Gadhumbi, Jen Nyabura Karia and Daniel Munyao Mbiti denied the charges leveled against them and were released each on a stringent bond terms. The pre-trial is set for the 26th of February, 2025.
He was not even summoned, actually. He was just arrested, Your Honor, and even denied police cash bail.
First accused, a cash bill of 2 million and 2 contact person and a bond of 5 billion shillings.
They have only been charged with the first and the fourth count only. We ask that you release them on lenient bail terms.
A cash bill of 850,000 each, and then they will provide 2 contact persons.
Let's now look at what we have compiled for you from the counties. 2 people have lost their lives and several others were injured along the Nairobi-Nakuru highway following a head-on collision between a private car and a vehicle belonging to the Kenya National Highways Authority. The cause of that accident is yet to be determined. These and other stories are in our county news roundup.
While confirming the accident, Limuru Police Commander Mary Gashie urged road users to strictly adhere to the road safety regulations that will help curb accidents on the road.
In the process, the occupants of the vehicle that was coming from Naivasha towards Nairobi lost their lives. Their bodies were taken to Tigoni mortuary for preservation and post-mortem. I'm appealing.
Elsewhere, it was a double tragedy for residents of Kewaloon village, Teso North in Busia County, following the demise of a police inspector attached to Malaba police station barely 48 hours after an inspector of administration police was laid to rest.
Ndio akageuza, ndio kujua huu ni kijana, huu ni mtu wetu, mkubwa wetu. Ndipo sasa wakaweka kwa gari.
Nimepoteza mtu ambaye alikuwa hashiki mambo ndani ya roho yake. Kila wakati amekuwa ni msaada. Wakati unamhitaji amekuwa ni mwepesi, na pia alikuwa anapenda kazi yake.
Meanwhile, a parent at Rio Kindo High School is in distress following the disappearance of her son. 16-year-old Elvis Peter Otieno was last seen on Friday last week when he was sent home for school fees arrears.
Nimeulizia, nimereport hapa police station Kisii Central. Nimeenda mpaka daraja 2 kuulizia huko.
And 3 20-foot containers were confiscated at the port police in Mombasa County after they were intercepted aboard a ship destined for China 2 weeks ago.
Arrests are going to be made because the matter is with the DCI, Mining Police Investigation Unit.
Finally, Siaya County government will adopt 3 wetlands as part of the efforts to protect them from degradation. This is according to the County Executive Committee member for Water and Environment, Professor Jacqueline Odwal.
Climate change is real, and we are aware that climate change does not just affect vegetation, does not just affect wetlands, but indeed affects livelihoods and affects health.
Opicho Chemtai for Prime Edition.
Digital framing, insurance trends, all that coming up in the day segment with Betty Kiptum. Don't go away.
Shilingi 1,000. Toka kwa hiyo sanduku. Stoki.
Kizongo mkuri. Rudisha hiyo pesa kwa sanduku namba 10.
Ongeza ifike 50.
Kwa nini? Anataka ukule popcorn ukitizama runinga, sawa? 100,000 Kenya shillings! Inch TV Smart 1,000 Kenya shillings! Yes!
I've said this to our boss a million times. I said to promote you and raise your salary, but he didn't agree. What else can I do?
Watch the shit that comes out of your mouth. Hey, stop, bro. Calm down. Calm down.
Crazy brat.
Hey, say again. No.
What
Are you doing? You have to take that back. Hold on.
Only 2 of you can share, but take it back.
I
said
get off me now. Get off. Hey, get off.
Of all the neighbors we have, you had to get it from Xiao over there. I was just showing off my dress to our neighbors.
He can't fire us both.
Who else would he fire, huh? You're the one who started it. You got lucky when a teen lady decided not to call the police.
Kijana wangu hatateseka zaidi kwa sababu ya uvumi.
Umekula ndizi, utasahau. Mimi nimekanyaga ganda lake na nikaanguka.
Kichwa maji sana. Unaonekana ulipozaliwa hichi kichwa chako kilipigana chini hichi. Maana hata si kichwa maji, kichwa uji.
Sitaki kujua. Na kuhusu huyo kalume wako, hayo matapishi yako mama, tafuta jinsi ya kupambana nayo. Usiafagie mlangoni kwako ukaniletea kwangu. Pambana na hali yako.
Huyu ni mimi kwapi?
Hizo hasira zako utanaribia mimi mtoto. Mtoto saa zote anipiga mateke humo tumboni. Ni kama alikuwa hujui jamani. Nishawasha moto.
wacha kawakie mbele.
Thank you for staying with Prime Edition. Time for the business news. My name is Betty Kiptum. Now, the government is set to construct a fish processing plant in Kisumu County, offering cold storage, value-added processing, logistical support, and waste management solutions to promote environmental conservation. The factory will process fish caught at, among others, 5 strategically located fish landing sites using modern fiberglass boats being made in new efforts to boost revenue from the blue economy.
Plans are underway to establish a fish processing plant and storage facilities to strengthen the local fisheries sector. The initiative aims to enhance value addition, expand market reach, and create economic opportunities for the fisher folk. In support of this, 5 new fishing landing sites are under construction to improve safety, boost efficiency in fish transportation, and support economic growth in the region.
We also are moving forward with the construction of 5 landing sites strategically located at the following beaches. Kichinjio Beach, which I believe is here, Makofi Kwao, but Kichinjio Beach in Kisumu Central Sub-County, that we are commissioning today. Nanga Beach in Sebe Sub-County. Rota Beach in Kisumu West Sub-County. Koguta Beach in Nyakach Sub-County. And Nyamwari Beach in Kadibo Sub-County.
The Kisumu County government has also partnered with Kenya Shipyards Limited to make 6 modern fiberglass boats. Professor Nyongo says the boats are safer and durable when compared to traditional wooden ones.
So it is safer to use something which we have control over, and which, by the way, in the final analysis, is much more economic than wooden boats.
He says one of the boats will be used for monitoring and surveillance along the lake. With increasing water transport and fishing activities on Lake Victoria, the wooden boats are gradually being phased out and replaced by fiberglass boats that are safer.
Each one of these modern boats, fitted with 25 to 40 horsepower engines, are fully equipped with cooler boxes for storage of fish up to 500 kilograms. Life jackets, flares, and safety gear for security in the lake.
The wooden boats project is expected to be completed within 90 days. Wairi Mujenga for Prime Edition.
And Equity Bank Kenya has unveiled a $20 million risk-sharing facility aimed at enhancing financial inclusion in 14 marginalized counties. The initiative targets to empower those living in underserved areas, such as refugees and their host communities, to ultimately be self-reliant.
Kenya is said to be hosting about 800,000 refugees and asylum seekers. They are in addition to those living in remote areas who face challenges accessing financial services. To address this, Equity Bank Kenya and the International Finance Corporation have rolled out an initiative to bridge the financial inclusion gap.
By targeting counties like Turkana and Garissa, home to the Kakuma and Dadaab refugee camps, we are expanding access to finance for businesses owned and run both by the host community and refugees in the country.
Under the deal, the International Finance Corporation will offer a comprehensive advisory services program to enhance Equity Bank Kenya's micro-lending and non-financial services.
Whoever comes in to partake on financial services does not need to worry about collateral, which is always a big pain for borrowers.
The risk-sharing facility is expected to increase access to finance for businesses owned and run by refugees in Kenya and those in surrounding host communities.
We need an institution of government, we need a finance institution that will capacity build our people, that will inject money or loans into the hands of people so that they're able to do that they could not do those other days.
The program will initially cover marginalized communities in 14 counties with 28 branches. Ndotamo Kami for Prime Edition.
Now, smallholder farmers will access loans using farm produce or livestock as collateral for credit. This is under a partnership between German Agency for International Cooperation and a digital service provider that will assist in computing farmers' credit score with their farm produce, acting as a key component in formulating the credit score. The self-quantifying system aims to eliminate the use of land or other property as collateral and enhance credit access to women and youth.
We are launching a solution that is for farmers. This solution is leveraging data, analytics, and AI to provide credit scoring for farmers. So as we might know, currently farmers can't easily get loans because all the lenders think that farmers are very risky. And so what we're doing here is that we're building a solution that will enable SACCOs and other lenders to drop some stringent requirements like guarantors and collateral.
We have identified artificial intelligence or AI as one way to try to bridge the information gap. Because as you know, lending is about information symmetry. If I have accurate information about a member, then I wouldn't have to ask for a title deed.
And our goal is to ensure that we drive digital innovation as a vehicle to all stakeholder farmers to move them towards commercial farming with a goal to improve farm productivity and also to make more profit.
The Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry Nairobi chapter has entered into a partnership with Japanese packaging solutions company Ishida Limited to support local small and medium enterprises in food industry. The support comprises provisions of packaging solutions for use by small and medium enterprises involved in the food and horticulture export business. Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry Nairobi Chapter Chair James Mboya challenged local and small and medium enterprises to explore strategic deals with multinationals to benefit from enhanced market access.
Kenya, of late, most of our business is out of the country. That means we need proper packaging, as expected, especially if you're going to the Europe market. The packaging they expect is, that brings that new market.
So Mr. Ishida will be traveling here a lot. He loves Africa. But our plan is to grow employment through our business and then to diversify our products. So we will start looking at who can build ancillary equipment, perhaps who is in industry that manufactures or engineers. That is one way that we can help build the economy, is to get suppliers to us locally. The African Trade and Investment Development Insurance is keen to facilitate the privatization of state-owned enterprises in Kenya. African Trade and Investment Development Insurance Chief Underwriting Officer, that is Benjamin Mugisha, says the firm will leverage experience in handling similar services in other countries such as Angola that has privatized some state enterprises. Mugisha further says there is growing demand for insurance services, contractors involved in public projects.
The Kenya situation, I think, is still evolving, is still early stages, but we've seen the directives and the intention to go the private sector way. As yet, the investor base is probably looking to see how the policy framework and the plan is concretized before they move forward.
Our instruments, which is risk mitigation, to encourage investors to come and take advantage of these opportunities. So we are trying to turn, the risk perception into an opportunity. So the premiums are going to grow, the investors are going to grow.
East African Cables, which recorded the biggest share price increase last week, extended the gains with the stock topping the list of companies that appreciated. Overall, 45 million shares valued at 668.6 million shillings were traded on Tuesday.
African Cable PLC shares continue to rally for the second day running after its share price increased by 9.96% on Tuesday, moving 120,700 shares. This is on top of the 9.72% gain on Monday and the 55.35% that the firm recorded last week. Other top gainers were Everready, Flametree, Samia and TransCentury. On the other hand, BOC Kenya led firms whose share prices headed south. The gas manufacturer's share price depreciated 6.98% to 80 shillings per share, moving 5,700 shares. IGAD's Bamburi Cement, Nation Media Group, and Williamson Tea were the other firms whose shares dipped during today's trading. Turnover rose to 668.6 million shillings from the previous session's 412 million shillings, while shares traded stood at 45 million as compared to 24 million yesterday. Safaricom was the day's biggest mover with 14 million shares valued at 251.9 million shillings, changing hands between 17 shillings and 50 cents and 18 shillings and 40 cents. The telecom shares accounted for 37.68% of the day's traded value. The bond market had bonds worth 8 billion shillings transacted in 132 deals. The all-share index NASI was up 1.25 points to close at 128.96. Benson Rioba reporting for Prime Edition.
And that story on the stock market report brings us to a close of the business news this evening. Sports news is coming up with Daniel Wahome. My name is Betty Kiptum. Good night.
Good evening to you. My name is Daniel Wahome and welcome to Prime Edition Sport. The Kenya Basketball Lionesses lost their second match to South Sudan in the ongoing FIBA Women's Basket Zone 5 qualifiers in Cairo, Egypt, to dash their hopes of qualifying for the Continental Showpiece schedule for Cote d'Ivoire from the 25th of July to the 3rd of August this year. South Sudan beat Kenya 86. Now, Kenya's USAU women's hockey team must secure a win against Nigeria's Plateau Queens in their fourth and final Group B match tomorrow to enhance their chances of qualifying for the finals of the Africa Cup for club champions in Ismailia, Egypt. Currently, the team is placed second in Group B with 6 points, 3 behind Egypt's Muha club, who lead the group with 9 points.
Samoa will face Kenya's Mombasa Sports Club, who sit third in the group with 4 points in their final match. In another Group B match, Shagria Sports Club of Egypt will play Nigeria's Kanda Queens. In the men's competition, Sikh Union will face Ghana Revenue Authority in their final Group B match, hoping to secure a win and qualify for the finals. Sikh Union is currently second in Group B with 6 points, 3 behind Leaders Aircraft Factory of Egypt, who take on USIU men in their final group match. In Group A, Kenya's Western Jaguars will play Niger Flickers, aiming to victory to improve their placement. They currently lie fourth in the group, which is led by Egypt's Port Fouad with 9 points, 2 ahead of second place Kanda Stars from Nigeria. The top teams from each group will qualify for the finals, while the runners-up will advance to the third and fourth place playoffs.
Systems go ahead of the third edition of the Lukenya University 10 Million Trees Marathon, set to be held on the 29th of March in Makueni County. And for the first time this year, the Black Mamba cyclists will be competing, as revealed in today's launch.
Lukenya Marathon will feature the 42-kilometer race, 21-kilometer half marathon, 10-kilometer and 5-kilometer family run. The organizers have also introduced the Black Mamba bicycle races, where cyclists will showcase their prowess in a 42-kilometer course, both for men and women. And most importantly, the event will also be used to create awareness about environmental conservation, according to the Board of Trustees Chairperson Sylvia Mweni-Kasanga.
We have the support of Athletics Kenya, and we have the support of the university and the university community in itself. So this year things should flow much smoother because now is the third time.
The acting Vice-Chancellor of the Lukenya University, Ruben Mwasia, called on the stakeholders to come on board and support the event, as the funds will also be used to clear school fees for the needy children.
It's a big challenge to host such an event, but it's very encouraging because it is part of our theme and part of our vision. So it is helping us to achieve what is our future plans of the university.
As far as the marathon is concerned, that is one of the way to introduce Lukenya University and the work and the mission and the vision the Lukenya University has to the world.
The winners of the 42-kilometer races will walk away with 200,000 Kenya shillings, while the half marathon and 10-kilometer races, winners will pocket 100,000 shillings and 20,000 Kenya shillings respectively. More than 1,000 athletes from across the country are scheduled to take part in the marathon.
Now, the winners of the 21st edition of the Standard Chartered Nairobi Marathon have finally been awarded with their cash prizes at a special ceremony held in Nairobi after being cleared by the Anti-Doping Agency of Kenya in their efforts to ensure a clean and fair competitive environment. Kurgat Kimeli and Gladys Chemutai emerged victorious in the 42-kilometer race to pocket 2 million Kenya shillings each. Dominic Kipkirui and Caroline Koech, who are runners-up in the men's and women's categories, received checks worth 1 million shillings, while the second runners-up, Peter Kwemo Indorobo and Joy Kimuma, were given 500,000 shillings each. Vincent Mutai and Gladys Kipkoech, who won the 21-kilometer races, were rewarded checks worth 300,000 shillings each, as did the 21-kilometer wheelchair winners John Wambua and Caroline Wanjera. The Standard Chartered Future Makers Initiative, which empowers the youth and women and persons with disabilities, also received a check worth 43 million shillings raised during the marathon. The 2024 Nairobi Standard Chartered Marathon was held on the 24th of October and drew over 25,000 participants from more than 90 nationalities.
We'll be working with our partners, our implementing partners, that is Light for the World and Sight Savers, targeting youth, women and persons with disability.
Let the athletes protect their sport, let them protect themselves, let them ensure that no prohibited substance that enters into their body, because we can confidently tell them that we will still continue implementing anti-doping program for the marathons.
This is also one of the marathons that comes out early. Our communication comes out early to the athletes, so they had good preparation for the competition.
Nina furaha sana kwa sababu sikuwa natarajia niwe mshindi wa Standard Chartered Marathon kulingana na champions ambaye tulikuwa naye wote, lakini kwa ajili ya kung'ang'ana kwangu na kujikaza kwangu na mazoezi nikawa mshindi wa hii Standard Chartered Marathon.
Chelsea came from behind to beat West Ham by 2-1 to return to the top four in the English Premier League last night. Player of the match, Jared Bowen, who had been out since December with an injury, put the winner in the 74th minute. The win saw Chelsea climb from 6th to 4th place on the log with 43 points, for adrift of that place Nottingham Forest. And that's the sport for tonight. My name is Daniel Wahome. Back to you, Tom.
Many thanks indeed, Wahome, for that sporty update. Jared Bowen coming back and scoring in the 74th minute. Hassan Ali, after the injury. Thank you, Daniel Wahome, for that update. Of course, earlier on we had Betty Kiptum. I can see my colleague shaking his head. Probably an issue of the facts there, but don't worry. We have the facts. If you want to get the right fact, the minute, the injuries, the person, get us on www.kbcchannel1.co.ke. So that's where we place all our updates. On the business, Betty Kiptum was here giving us the update. Of course, my name is Mboya, the Prime Edition team, also putting together this live broadcast. I want to thank you so much for making this channel your channel of choice for your news. My name is Mboya. Good night from Nairobi, Kenya.
Mmelipwa. Umbea utakumaliza wewe. Hii story imesambaa kila mahali. Na ni ngapi?
Ni plani yetu. Tafaulu kweli?
It has to.
The number cannot be reached now. Mama Majini akianza kuchimba, atachimbua mpaka apate majibu.
Either way, Jane needs some time off.
Umebonga naye?
Tumeongea na yeye na sawa kabisa.
Na yuko wapi? Huyu si ni Jane? Hizi picha zinatusaidia nini? Kwa hivyo wako pamoja na Trish.
Anza kukaa kama mwanaume juu uangalie boma yetu.
I'll do anything to protect you and this family.
Mimi sina saa za madingo na wasoro. Nitakupepeta wewe. I want to know where my daughter is, who she is with, and why.
I've said this to our boss a million times. I said to promote you and raise your salary, but he didn't agree. What else can I do?
Watch the shit that comes out of your mouth. Hey, stop, bro. Calm down. Calm down.
Crazy brat.
What did you say again? No. What are you doing? You have to take that back. Hold on.
The two of you can share my kickback.
Get off me now.
Get off.
Hey, get off.